Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So channel members, you guys are having a live all signs reading with me tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so Friday. And if you're interested in checking that out or being part of it, the channel memberships is always linked in the description box below. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get started. Taking a step aside. And allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. Getting at 3 cards. Nope. Okay. The bottom of the deck is the Strength card, so that's going to be our overall theme. Oh, okay. So, whoever this message is for, there seems to be, and I'm just going to reiterate this again because I've had an awful lot of comments of people saying I don't really know what I need to do this about, or, you know, in reference to a particular reading. Then it's not your reading, right? Take a step back if you're trying to place every single reading that comes across your feed as being your story, because you're going to confuse yourself and exhaust yourself. And that's a lot of power to give away. So whoever's message this is, it looks like there's been a lot of inherited suffering that we've been working on here. I have Othala and I have the 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups can be shame, guilt. It can be lack, right? All the 5s can kind of really represent lack in some way. With the 5 of Cups, this is kind of traditionally known as crying over spilled milk. So there may be struggles with feeling victimized. Not saying that whoever this message is for that you haven't been. It's just a struggle with getting out of that energy, right? And there may even be a feeling of expending all of your emotional energy into places that don't reciprocate when we have the 5 of Cups. And this is indicating that this energy and the struggle is something that is inherited. When we have Othala, what we're really looking at is something that has been passed on, right? So it can be things of value that you inherit. It can be things regarding your ancestry. Some of you, there may be a little bit of an indicator here that you've had a loved one pass on, that you've really struggled to kind of grieve. I don't know what they're barking at. They've been doing this all day. It's been a barky day. The little one is my problem child, and I swear she just loves the sound of her own voice. She does. She'll throw her head back and just start barking and just kind of look at you and smile. Oh my God. She's a ham. All right. So the middle card here is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune here is Ancestor, and so this is really representing some sort of wisdom or inspiration. This is also sometimes considered the rune of Odin, depending on what tradition you study. And there's something here that's going on where there's some sort of knowledge that has karmically been learned. So someone here, it's like you have gone through the transmutation process or through the alchemical process that's being represented by the Wheel of Fortune. Traditionally, the Wheel of Fortune has the signs for salt, sulfur, and mercury in the middle, and those are the primal materials from which the alchemical process is really transmuting, right? It's that's what the whole alchemical process requires when creating the Philosopher's Stone. So this is kind of a moment where energy gets set into motion to move somebody out of this energy. So someone here, you've done a lot of work here. It's probably taken a great deal of strength. And the energy that is kind of supporting the whole reading, I want to point this out. This is manas. This is humanity, the self. This is your connections, your partnerships, your friendships. But really, this is a collective. It's a collective energy. There's a collective energy that has been bringing up ancestral wounding, ancestral curses. I know some people want to term it that way. There's all sorts of storylines that we have wrapped up in our ancestry that are very valuable and very important to our growth and towards our future. I recently told somebody, more so than working on past life material, because those are stories you carry into this life. You can work on them in this life as well. Maybe focusing on your ancestral information is important, because those are things that come with us, right? That's inside of us. So, there's this energy of having gone through this and having taken stock, right? What belongs to me? What is something that my ancestors dealt with? Did all of the women in my family struggle with poverty? Did all the men in my family struggle with relationships, right? It's something like that. And this is a collective thing. And as we work through those energies of our ancestry, because it is our ancestral energies, the more and more that we focus on those energies, more so than the individual energies, this is what really seems to help people change things on a collective level. So that's just something I've been becoming aware of recently as I've been observing it a little bit more happening on this channel. Here with the Wheel of Fortune, and this inspiration, this wisdom that's starting to get the wheel turning, there's this tower that is taking place. And I almost feel that this tower is encompassing the whole thing. Now, we had the tower showing up for the last 2 weeks inside of the readings. And yesterday's reading was very much about the tower. It started off that way, or it was an underlying energy that I felt. In this, it's showing up. And the rune that's over it is the rune for ice. Right? So that's stagnation, when things are kind of frozen, maybe even a time of introspection. It's where things aren't necessarily moving. It can even be challenges, obstacles, blocks. And the tower is coming to obliterate that. So if there's been a block inside of your life and you've been working through these ancestral energies, something's beginning to change now. When I have the card of the strength and I'm hearing to take 4 cards down, 5th card will be important, just like yesterday. When I have the card of the strength, this always speaks to me about kind of like the taming of something that is passing away, right? The fading of something. And it goes into a whole story about, lions being creatures of the night, and then the maiden that's depicted being of the dawn, in sort of like the mythic layer of the Major Arcana. Again, if you're interested in the mythic layer versus the alchemical layer, we cover all of that inside of the Major Arcana Series and the channel memberships. And what this line is doing is it has this raven on it, right? So there's some sort of message that's coming to almost challenge what we know. And whatever this message is, this challenging what we know, it's because we're having outside, how do I want to put this? Not outside. We're having a bigger message come through now that these blocks are being removed. We could only hear a little portion of the message previously. For some of you, this may be a message or an intuition or an inspiration, again, about the direction that you want to head in your life. For some of you, it may be about how there isn't actually anything for you to work through. There's a story that has to be put down, right? Whatever it is, it's going to be vastly different for everybody. I can already tell that. But this really represents, for me, it leads into that sun card, which the sun card really speaks about a new day. It speaks about the rising of the drowned king. So this is almost like a very dark valley of the soul that someone has had to go through, or maybe you've gone through a lot of very dark, deep, introspective work, and you're ready to rise again. And the strength card is kind of indicating a need for bravery at this time. Here we have the Temperance card, and so this is another card that really, really signifies the alchemical process. I mean, the whole Major Arcana does, but this one is kind of like what do I want to call it? Like a road sign, like stop, hey, pay attention, because this card in the traditional Rider-Waite, Pamela Coleman-Smith deck, it really represents the merging of solar and lunar forces. So someone here has probably really worked on that merging of the masculine and feminine energies, of healing both so that one isn't out of balance. There's something here that's coming in about the firing up of the work, right? Heat is being applied. And so this may be what someone is feeling currently as these energies start to change. I do feel that Aries season will be important for this collective. I feel it will be important for everybody this year, but especially this collective. And then we have this Four of Cups. When this change starts to happen, don't be surprised if it doesn't happen in the way that you expect, right? It may take some very unexpected forms and happen in some very unexpected ways. When we have the Four of Cups, this is an individual traditionally looking at these three cups. It's sitting underneath the tree looking at these three cups, and this hand from the universe or from spirit is kind of offering this extra cup that it takes them a moment to see. And maybe they will even not pay attention to that cup when they see it because it didn't come with the others. It didn't come the way that they expected. So expect the unexpected. Listen, right? If you're asking for answers, listen. And that doesn't mean a voice is always going to be the one to give it to you. It doesn't mean that you're always going to get it from within you. Sometimes it can come in very unexpected ways. A line inside of a song or something negative that somebody says to you, right? It could be hidden in that. There's all sorts of ways that the answers can come. And so there's a message here about keeping an open mind because there's more inspiration, more information that's coming through. As this tower comes down, it challenges the lens through which we perceive. The fourth card is the King of Wands, okay? And this is about empowerment and sovereignty. This is a very different energy from the energy that we start off with, which is the Five of Cups. When we have the King of Wands, this is someone who has gone through a lot of alchemical processes, right? He's been through the fire. He understands that element very well. He's the ruler of that element. And so this is very much about not necessarily being burned anymore by those processes, but those processes now supporting and fueling who you are and your strength. So I do think that whoever this message is for, you've gotten very comfortable with doing the work, right? And rather than finding it exhausting and all those things that, we always see inside the comments, which are valid, it's totally valid, but instead of feeling that way, you now understand that this is part of life. This is part of life. It doesn't stop. And it's almost like finding your power and your sovereignty in that process now, which is really, that's kind of the viewpoint of a master. So someone has mastered this element of being able to dig into the self, being able to transmute things, being able to rectify disparaging parts of self, right? Even disparaging storylines, and understanding what needs to stay, what needs to go. This is where someone is able to kind of reinvent themselves because they understand exactly how that process works. And last card, fifth card is, again, this all boils down to the Page of Swords. So some sort of message. So we have this raven carrying this message again, which we saw in the very first bottom card in the way that I was feeling it as it was coming through, which was the Strength card. So there's some sort of message that's coming. This message brings with it sort of this new era in someone's life, but it's going to come in a way that someone's not quite expecting. And it's all part of this Tower process and Wheel of Fortune process where something that is stuck is being brought down. This creates a lot of momentum, a lot of movement. Sticking with the crows, apparently. Okay, I'm going to move these. Okay, I'm being told here, in some ways, for some of you, an area of block may be your connection to the collective, okay? And if this is the case, now going up this way, there may be some inspiration that someone is receiving in order to overcome that obstacle or overcome that block for themselves. I'm seeing the Othalas influencing both the Asus and then the Manas. And so there's something here about, this may even be something that was shared inside your ancestry, was a disconnection from the collective or disconnection in an authentic way, right? From being able to connect and being able to reciprocate particular energies or have those energies reciprocated back. Here with this one here is very interesting because I'm getting like that Odin vibe coming through now. Someone has had to learn how to really observe self. You may have started off as somebody who you were pointing the finger a lot outside of yourself, and at some point you had to learn how to point the finger within. Whenever I feel like somebody who's used to being this way goes to this way, it's almost like they go to the extreme, and so then they have to learn how to balance that. I almost feel that that Temperance card is speaking about that as well. And, that's really what the process of growth and learning is. It's a recalibration. It's a constant recalibration so that you understand where that fine line rests. I am very interested in these two being on the bottom, as since they are on the bottom, they are supporting energies. I have Othala here, and then I have Manas, and this is really speaking to me about some sort of inherited social structure. It's almost as though, and this has been coming out in the readings quite a bit, and I think this will probably come out a little bit more before someone actually runs into this, because there does seem to be some final touches that need to happen within this collective story before it takes place. But this feels a little bit like, and no wonder I have that on the bottom, feels a little bit like someone coming into a network or a soul tribe group or collected family, created family that is kind of meant for them. Like-minded individuals, right? Kindred spirits. Okay. Okay, let's see. And I'm hearing three more. Two more. No. There we go. Queen of Swords, King of Swords showing up. Wheel of Fortune again. So we have two Wheel of Fortunes here. And again, just significant changes taking place. Very significant changes taking place. Heavy on the alchemy. Heavy on the really merging parts of the self, really working through some self-work, working through some harder energies, healing, right? And something is beginning to turn. When we see the Wheel of Fortune, another meaning for it can be that what goes up comes down, and what goes down must come up. So it's a turn in fortune or a turn in circumstance here. Now, the Queen of Swords being on the table with the King of Swords being an overall energy, I'm not reading this as like a partnership or a pair. The Queen of Swords here from the Wheel of Fortune to the Tower, sitting opposite of this other Wheel of Fortune, is kind of really speaking to me about what keeps coming up, boundaries, right? The Queen of Swords, she typically has one hand extended outward and the other hand has a sword drawn. And so it's the ability to invite people and still be inviting, and yet carry yourself in a way that people know that they better not take advantage of your time or your energy, right? Someone has learned how to carry themselves a particular way that really speaks to their value. Remember, Thala is one of the meanings of that is value, things of great personal value, things of inherited value. And I'm noticing that on this queen, she's got a lot of circles on her chest. So there may have been many cycles related to heart-related matters. I just said related. That might be very important as well for somebody. There may be things going on with relatives. But there's like heart-related matters that we may have experienced cycles about, okay? And I think that the Queen of Swords has learned a lot of lessons from that. The Queen of Swords, because she values herself, she doesn't get caught up in those cycles anymore. She's somebody who understands when a cycle, what it looks like, right? She's let herself learn that, what it looks like, and then how to free herself from it before it can begin. So I do think that the Wheel of Fortune is carrying a little bit of that energy, that whatever cycles it is that someone had been stuck in that are ancestral have been completed and ended. I don't like to say completed because it almost feels like there's no free will there, but I do feel that someone had to learn a lot of lessons. Now, this Queen of Swords is sitting in this triangle that's being comprised of Ancestor and Manas. And this is really telling me that there's some sort of inspiration about how to break through this block in terms of blocking experiences that we have with people, right? Ways that we feel that other people keep us stuck. And there's been a breakthrough, an inspiration or understanding regarding that. And then when we come to the King of Swords as the theme for the second set, it's saying that this change in the way that someone carries themselves or the way that they think about their relationship with other people, it's been quite a logical process. Whoever this message is for, you may have been a very feely person, and you probably still are, and you may have led with that cup, right? Led with the more emotional side of you, getting involved in things quickly, letting people become friends really quickly, letting yourself kind of overlook certain things way too quickly. And the King of Swords, because he sits back in a more logical way, this is where we really assess the data. The information that people are feeding us, and we make decisions out of this place rather than that heart-led space, which can get us in trouble, right? It can definitely get us in trouble. Let's see. right? We have the Seven of Wands here. And this is what is changing, because it's underneath the manas, and the theme for that is this. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, so the Seven of Wands is defensiveness, it's protection, it's fighting for something. With the Wheel of Fortune above it, it means that there's an energy here that's changing. There's nothing wrong with being protective of yourself. There's nothing wrong with standing up for what you believe in. But when it's in the context of relationships and you have to protect yourself, the question shouldn't be, do I have a right to do this? It should be, why are you? Right? Someone here has had to learn that the relationships in which you feel that you have to be protective of yourself, or you have to defend yourself against things, probably shouldn't be there. And this is why the Queen of Swords is showing up in this position in relation to this card. So she's right there, right? She's one step ahead of this energy. And this card touching manas, this may be an approach that we had to all of our relationships and to people in general. I would be willing to bet that inside this collective, with these cards showing up, especially these two right here, that at some point inside the past, it was very normalized for relationships of any kind to equate conflict. Having an underlying battle constantly going on, right? Someone here has had to learn how to put down the sword and understand that when someone requires you to pick the sword up, they probably shouldn't be in your life. So this is actually very beautiful energy, because there's been some very hard lessons. These are types of lessons that are very hard for most people to see. So it's the reason why the world is the way that it is. So the fact that the Nine of Cups is the theme in regards to the Seven of Wands is someone has learned how to prioritize their own happiness. That's what the Nine of Cups represents, or wish fulfillment or happiness. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so that's it. If this reading resonates with you, please hit that like button. Feel free to leave me a comment, and until next time.